Even before we knew we were related, we'd always known there was part of them in us and part of us in them. We can see ourselves in their faces. We share a long family history, a sense of adventure, courage, what makes us human may not be uniquely human after all.
All right, my bipedal primate humanoid brethren, today we are learning the pullover. So when you're out in the wild world and you see a banana hanging from a tree and there happens to be a bar next to it, within the reach of your body that you can do a pullover to, you too can get a banana. Lucky, lucky boys and girls. So let's talk about our pullover. What is the purpose of a pullover? Well, as we saw, it is a way for us to go from below a bar to our front support on top of a bar. The only other kind of ways to do it, and that's not necessarily true because there's lots of ways to do it, but there are three primary ways to do it. One, the muscle up. I pull and I use pure strength to get myself up on top. That one is very hard unless you are very strong for your body weight. Number two, I can do a kip like in gymnastics, glide and use the momentum of my body to pop me up and over. That one is arguably the most difficult because it is a very intense skill that takes a long time to learn. And third and final, there is the pullover, the easiest of all methods, but still very difficult as it takes a lot of core and ab strength, as well as a bit of arm strength and coordination. So today, we're gonna learn on a nice low bar. Why? Because you can go and find yourself a handicap rail. You know when you walk down the street and the sidewalks have a nice rail like this? You can use a rail like this to learn your pullover instead of having to learn from a nice high bar like this, which, although awesome, requires a full pull-up and full ab control and strength to get up and over. It is much more difficult. If we learn proper body position and coordination from a low object, then we can build the strength and the coordination, put them together for the taller object. So let's start with our 60-second breakdown, shall we? Yeah, I love when you guys are on the same page. It's so cool. All right, put 60 seconds on a clock somewhere. And let's begin. Okay. Our pullover. When we start, we're gonna start nice and low on the ground. We are sitting like this. You'll notice I'm not having straight arms from the ground. I am starting in a bent arm position. My goal for this is to get my chin as close to the bar as possible. And I want my chin facing forward, like I'm trying to put my chin close to the bar. Not over the bar, this is more difficult, but just close to the bar. From here, I need to keep my arms bent. When I straighten my arms, I fall further away from the bar, making this much harder. When I do my pullover, I am going to take one foot, place it on the ground, and I'm going to be kicking my other leg into the air. It is not my goal to get my leg over the bar. It is my goal to get my hips up and over the bar. So as I pull, I've got my chin close to the bar, but underneath it, I'm gonna kick this leg, push off this leg, boop, and bring them together here to my upside down hanging position. I call that hanging pike. From here, I'm gonna place my hands still facing forward on top, rotate them as far back as possible, slide my legs down, and roll my chest up into my front support position. If you do a really good job and you can get this one, we're gonna do it in reverse. I'm gonna slowly lean forward, tucking my chin, rotating my hands up and over the bar, tucking myself down nice and slow before setting my booty down on the ground. Hopefully you won't sit on your tail like I did. That did not feel good. That made me a sad little monkey. It's okay, I got a banana. I'm gonna be happy again soon. That was a weird voice. All right, that finishes our 60-second breakdown. Let us continue and get a little more in depth with the pullover. I mean, hello there. Hi. All right, so for our pullover, let's get into the details. First off, I'm gonna move from a slightly lower bar like this, which we're gonna do our practice on, to a higher bar to demonstrate something real quick. Here is the deal. When I do my pullover, we talked about during our 60-second breakdown how I want my chin close to the bar. Here's the actual reason for that. When I pull my chin close to the bar, I am bringing my hips also closer to the bar. And my goal when I do my pullover is to get my hips up and over the bar. Once my hips are over the bar, I'm just hanging out. I don't need any hands or feet or anything to hold me onto that bar. The weight on opposite ends of the bar will do it for me. But if my arms are straight, with straight arms, I can't get my hips to the bar. So allow me to demonstrate. I'm here, I pull my chin up. Look how close my hips are for the bar, about 2.5 feet. I can lift up, I can get my hips there, and I don't even need hands or feet. I'm just hanging out. But if my arms are straight and I lift my legs, look at that, I'm hitting my thighs. I'm not getting, come on over here so you can see a little better. I'm not even getting, I can't get my hips to the bar. And trying to pull from here, is a million times harder. So we always want to start with our chin next to the bar. Now, one of the things that's hard for most people is that's a lot of arm strength, especially when you start engaging your core, it becomes a lot more difficult. If you want to test it out real quick, get on a bar, do a pull-up. Cool. Try to tuck or pike your legs in front of you and then do a pull-up. It becomes 10 times harder. So when we do this, we're gonna pull up first and then engage the core. If you're completely upside down trying to pull up and engage your core to get up and over the bar, very difficult. So once we get that chin to the bar, even though it can be a little strenuous on your arms, you wanna keep that chin there. As soon as it gets away during your pullover, it becomes a million times harder. So another thing we wanna make sure we do is keep our chin facing forward like we talked about during our 60-second breakdown. If I'm here, my back is round. If my back is round, like a ball, I can roll up and over this thing. Watch what happens if I lift my chin to look back, which is very natural because it's easier on your arms. As soon as I start my pullover, my head goes back. Look at that. Can't get my hips up and over. But if I keep my chin to my sternum and close to the bar, boop, I only have to lift my legs about a foot. The cool thing is once I get to this position, this is called a hanging pike. From here, I can reach down, grab my toes, I can hang out, but you'll notice I don't need my arms to hold myself on here anymore. Take this one nice and slow because some people, they get here and they go, ah, and they tuck their legs and then they fall on their head and I laugh at them. So it is very important in the beginning to keep your legs straight and find your balance point. You will notice something here. As I tuck my heels to my butt, I'm pulling weight from far out on this side and about to transfer it over this way. And you can see me start to rotate, ah! And then I'm about to fall off the bar. So once you do your pullover, make sure you straighten your legs. I see people all the time when they do their pullover, right? They get their chin here, they're lifting their legs up and using their strength. They get to here and they're like this and they're like, coach, I can't get over it, it's so hard. Straighten your legs and notice how my body starts to roll. From here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate our hands up and over the bar as far as we can. Now from this position, I've told you guys before, I don't really like on a bar this thick to have my thumb on top. I like to do it like this. But for this one, I wanna grab with that thumb. And if I just try to lift my chin and pull my chest up, it's really difficult. I don't want to try to pull myself up. Instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to slide my hips slightly further back this way. You'll notice I'm doing it right now with just my hips. I'm just rolling. Chin is still down, all up to front support. Then lift my chin and come up nice and strong. All right, if you lift your chin early, it's just like sticking a heavy weight out this way. It wants to tip down because of gravity. I want to pull it in close to the bar on this side, extend the legs on this side, and like a teeter-totter, the heavier weight will dip down, bringing my chest up to my front support position. Make sense? Physics, biology. All right, let's move on a little bit, shall we? Because I forgot what I was going to say next. That's the power you're supposed to got the you again. That's right. I'm not afraid. So when you try this one, it's a lot of strength and coordination at the same time. So what we're going to do as you try it and you're like, man, I may be able to get my legs up, but when I do, my arms start to straighten. Makes sense because as you go upside down, more of your weight is loading on your arm. It's a lot harder. Or you say, I can keep my chin there, but I don't quite have the core strength yet to lift my legs up and over. So I'm going to show you guys a drill. Number one, so you can take a lot of the strength out, so you can focus just on the coordination and timing to get your pullover. And then I'm going to show you a couple of drills that will help you build the strength necessary. Then we're going to put them together, and then you, my friend, are going to have a pullover like a boss. So Again, hands over the top facing forward. I'm pulling my chin close to the bar. Now, again, you can find handicap rails anywhere, and I'm sure you can find a chair somewhere easily enough. No specialty equipment required. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place one foot up on the chair. I'm going to take my other leg, straighten it out, lifting my chin to the bar. Now I can use my leg to help me. And I'm going to go here. Now notice, if I leave my foot here and just try to lift this foot, nothing's going to happen. You're going to need a little jump off the chair. Bring your legs together, and it's going to roll you over. Hands rotate around into my front support position. Now, let's say you got yourself up on top of the bar. Oh yeah, people, I'm on top of the bar. At some point, you have to get back down. Now, this bar, obviously very low. I can just boop down to the ground, no big deal. If I am 10, 12, 15 feet in the air, I got to do a really cool gig where I got to hang off of some girders like 18 feet in the air and do flips off those down to the ground. Big squishy mat. Thing was, if I did it from a front support position, I'm falling from my feet about 15, 16 feet. That is a big drop and can be very painful. If I go from a hang, I have now, from my fingertips down to my feet, have cut 8 feet off that. I'm only really falling like another 7 to 8 feet. Much easier. So we want to practice getting to the point where we can hang instead of going from here, boop, and dropping to the ground. We want to be hanging off that bar and dropping to the ground. Now, if I fall back behind, it's a lot of drop really fast on my arms, and we can do what's called peeling. Like a banana! Ha! But no, not a banana this time, actually. That's where basically your fingers have so much force coming onto them that you can't hold your weight, and they boop you off, and then you fall on your back, and then you cry. And then your mom sues me because she's like, what did my son learn from your YouTube videos? You jerk. But it's cool. I'm like half animal, so I'm not subject to your laws. Humans, ha! I poop on your face. Just kidding, I poop on my hand and I throw it at your face, but you get the general idea. So what we want to do is get into that hanging position, and the easiest way to do that with the least amount of effort is a forward roll. The cool thing is, if the pullover is difficult for you, find a low bar like this and practice this drill we're going to do. This is going to build a lot of your core strength and your arm strength, which will help you with the pullover to do it the other direction, which is the harder direction. So again, we're going to start with our hands facing forward. I'm in my front support. Remember, in our normal front support, the bar is somewhere on our thigh. For this one, we're going to let it sag. You can see it in my shoulders. I'm here in a front support. Sag down to this position. Once my hips are in the bar, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean forward. Here's the deal. I want to keep my feet pointed at the ground as long as I can while doing this forward roll. And you're going to see why. If I start to lean forward and I straighten my legs out, which is very common, I'm going to go here, whoop, boom. Now imagine if I didn't bring this leg in, I'm going to slam this heel on the ground, and I am going to cry because it is going to suck. We want to do this very, very slowly so we do not get all that centrifugal force or centripetal force and whip around and slam our heels into the ground. So what I want to see from you, we go from our sagging front support position. You'll notice I can bend my legs, which I kind of have to because my legs are too long right here. I'm going to slowly bring my head down, but notice, see, I kind of want to rock and roll, but I'm keeping my feet pointed at the ground so I need no hands. If my legs came over, I would flip over. From here, I take my hands, I'm going to rotate them over the top of the bar, so now they're, again, holding me in case I go to a hang. I'm going to pull my heels to my butt, and from here, I'm going to lift my knees a little vertically. Boop. When I get to here, I'm going to use my arm muscles and pull my chin to the bar and engage my core. So I can do this very slowly. I come here, and I slowly come down to this hanging position, and then down to the ground. Nice and slow, but the cool thing is when I do that, all the weight loads on my arms and the center of my core, which are the things that we need to get up and over in our pullover. So now I'm actually working not only the body position in reverse by doing the skill backwards from up to down instead of down to up, but I'm also working those muscles I need to do the harder version from down to up. Yay! There is one very serious subject how I'd like to touch on. Ladies, you probably don't want to hear this, and you can tune out. But men, this is going to sound really funny, but I have told this, it's going to sound mildly inappropriate, as I've told this to literally hundreds of small children, but boys, you have a wiener. I know. You may not have known that yet, but you do. And here's the very interesting thing about that. When you do your pullover, where's the bar going? Right here. if you land and then slide across this bar, the bar goes from below the hips, over the hips. What's in between there? You guessed it, it's your wiener! And what do you think's gonna happen if you smash that thing? It's gonna suck! I have seen at least 4 or 5 times a kid who has done the pullover, landed, smashed the wiener, went, Because what's your first instinct, right? You're not like, oh, I should hang on this bar to make sure I don't fall on my head. No, you flail. You're like, something smashed my junk. And then they flail, and then they fall off the bar and fall on their head. That's a big double whammy. Headshot on concrete and smashing the junk. So I highly recommend when you do this, start slow, rotate slowly, and if you feel some unpleasantness, forward roll back down very quickly, but don't take your hands off because then you're going to fall on your head. Outside of that, just don't do it. Okay, let's talk about a few more things, shall we? I think that we shall. Just about anywhere you go, you can find a bar that you can hang from. Every park seems to have one, every school seems to have one. So I'm going to grab a bar like this. Now, obviously, we can do our pull-ups to help build strength for pulling our chin to the bar for a pullover. Some people, though, it is very difficult to do a pull-up. So there's a few small, tiny things I want to touch on that are going to help you with this. Number 1, a straight body position. 2 most common things in a pull-up, right? People lift their chin to try to pull into the bar. As soon as you arch your back, all of these muscles disengage. Doesn't seem like you need these ones right here for a pull-up, but trust me, you do. When I pull up like this, everybody just, if you got a bar, give it a shot. If I look straight forward and do a pull-up, yay. When I arch my back like this, it becomes much, much more difficult. So keep yourself looking forward, keep a straight body. The other thing is, when we do a pull-up, there's nothing to step on, right? It's kind of like, when people fall and they're like, huh, huh, huh. You're not birds. You can't fly. If you were a monkey, maybe you could have jumped to something and held on. But you're not that either. Only I am. So, as a human being, you can't fly. You also don't have invisible staircases. I see so many people trying to do their pull-up and they go, Imagine if you're trying to lift a weight and you're like, yeah, and all of a sudden the ends of the weights are like, whee, and they flail all over the place. It's much harder. So when you do your pull-up, try to keep a straight body position, and as difficult as it seems, try to keep your legs nice and straight and together. This will make it much easier when you do your pullover to do a pullover. Make sense? Don't you lie to me. Don't you shake your head at me. Don't you tilt yourself at me. Oh, okay. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. That's right, this thing's covered in poop. You better watch out. The last thing we're going to talk about real quick is for our core. Because even if you can do the pull-up, lifting the legs up and over is incredibly, incredibly difficult. So, what we want to practice is what's called a leg lift. If you've never tried a leg lift, welcome to hell. If you have, I'm sorry. If you're somewhere in between, which doesn't make any sense, you're welcome. So, what we're going to try to do is keep our arms as straight as we can. Now, when we do this with straight arms, it can be very difficult. So if you need to bend them a little bit in the beginning, even though you're like, oh man, I got to do a partial pull-up, it will make it easier on your core. Here is what we're going to do. We are going to basically do a thing that looks a little like this. I'm going to go here. I'm going to take those legs, and I'm going to use my core to lift my legs up to the bar and back down. Now, this is hard. For most people, they get to about here. Because you're not just using the abs right here to lift and bend at the waist, but you're rounding your body, okay? There's a very big difference between what we call a pike, which is where we bend at the waist, like a hinge, and where we hollow, where we are pulling the hips underneath us. You can see how my body's round versus pike. That's a straight upper body, so we want to round the spine when we do this. Now, when we do this, it can be very difficult. Do not ask why the monkey suddenly has accent, it just does, okay? All right, good. Now, when you do this one, the straight legs, very difficult. So what you can do is you can use the bent legs in the beginning. I lift the knees, and what I try to do is bring the knees up to the elbows and the back down. If it's very difficult, go as high as you can. If you only go this high, go here and hold. You want to pretend to round your body. You want to pretend like you're a little monkey, Little monkey, and you're a scared monkey. So like the doggy, you boop, and you pull the tail under the butt cheeks. So I go here, I don't go, huh! I force the tail, oh, I'm scared, onto the butt cheeks. But seriously, if you think about it like a tail that you are hiding underneath you, it will engage this muscle round your back, your low spine, and your hips, and allow you to tuck up a lot easier. So between this and our pull-up technique, we're going to be able to do our pullover. Again, with our pull-up, for some people, a pull-up is all but impossible. Good practice, easiest practice you can do is called a negative. Bring your chair over. We're going to pretend this is my chair. Let's pretend this bar is too tall for me to reach. So what I'm going to do is I stand in my chair. I pull my chin to the bar. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to hang out here as long as I possibly can holding. And as I start to get too weak, I'm going to go as slowly to the ground as I can. And then set myself down. Don't just say I'm going to do as long as I can. Set a timer. Give yourself a goal. All right, beautiful people. I hope you enjoyed your pullover tutorial for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that beautiful monkey business. First person to comment gets a bite of my banana. No, I'm just kidding. And you think probably because it's gross that I give you a bite of my banana, but it's because I don't share bananas. My banana. But I'll share videos, so like that's cool, right? Yeah, maybe. Man, you guys really nod your head. You know, you guys all have vocal cords. You can just talk. No? Oh. Maybe you should try evolving. All right. I love you, beautiful faces. I hope to see some awesome comments. Let me know if you have any questions, and let me know if there's any skills you would like me to cover in the future, because I'm down with that monkey business. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's kind of personal, but I got some poop in my tail fur, so I'm gonna go take care of that because it's kind of awkward. Okay, don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Like this. Yeah. If you guys will excuse me, I'm gonna slowly evolve because it's really hot in this thing and sticky, evidently. This is awkward.